Hi, a friend of mine asked would I be to have a look at this DJI Mini 3 that he crashed, and as you can see it's a little bit worse for wear. I've got a bit of a crack in the case down here. This leg here has broken off. I think there's another bit of plastic broken off on one of the other legs as well. I think this one here, yeah, there's a bit broken off there as well. So, and I don't know what other damage has been done to it. But he did buy a spare leg for it, so I'll just grab that. And that's it here. Now one of the problems is the cable. You can't just unsolder it from the motor here and pull it through. So I think we're going to have to disassemble it, see where this cable goes, see if we can fit the new leg, and then hopefully see where we're at from there. So I'm not sure how it comes apart, but I think it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. So I'm just going to open that leg up first. And I think I'm going to start by removing this little part here. So let's just zoom down a little bit. I'll just grab a screwdriver. I'll try and put all the screws to one side so we know where they are. Let's see if we can get this part out first. So I'm not even sure how that bit comes out. Let's see, I can do a different screwdriver. We'll try poking it in the hole and see if we can lever that up a bit or something. You can't poke it from the top unless there is some screws or something under here. I'll try taking some of these screws out and we'll see what happens. So I'm just going to move that leg out of the way. Let's open up this one. And I think those look like those Phillips as well. Yeah, those ones are Phillips. I think it's got an SD card in the back here. I better remove that as well. And it's a 64 gig SanDisk Extreme. Now I've got some more screws here, but I think those are Torx. So I'm just going to grab a Torx just to see if I've got one that fits there. So I've got a Torx T4. That seems to be about the right size. Right, does this want to come off? Not really. I think we've got a couple of screws just down there. Unless you've got to take the top off first. Let's see if we can get those out without damaging this camera maybe. This looks a bit tricky. I'm just going to put a tweezer so to get that other screw out. Right, let's see if the top comes off perhaps then. Just zoom out a fraction. Well, this isn't going very good so far. I think that's the only problem when you're trying to get into something, is trying to work out how it actually comes apart. I'm just going to pause a sec. I'm just going to see if there's any teardown videos or anything on these, just to see exactly how they come apart. A moment, please. Well, it looks like the way these come apart is the top comes off first. So let's have a go at trying to get that off somehow. I'll try and get a spudging tool in here. I see having much luck with this at all. A little bit of progress at the back here. That bit just popped up. Let's try the other side. Been a nightmare this. Right, there's not any screws under there, is there? No, that must be a clip. Well, that was a nightmare. So it looks like these wires go down this side here and then to this PCB on the front here, which is screwed there. So I think we're going to have to take this top board out first, which looks a bit of a nightmare as well. So it looks like this part's all on this shock mount thing here. Maybe. Let's see if I can get this little GPS board off first. Let's see if I can find something just to poke those rubber grommets through. With a little clip there. Little connector, which looks glued in place. Right, we've got that out of the way. Looks like we're going to have to undo these two screws here. That gets that heatsink assembly out of the way. Looks like we have to undo this cable. We've got a couple of antenna cables here. I wonder if a bit of IPA would release those a bit better. That's one. That's the other. Looks like we've got one screw here. So let's try removing that. Now let's see if this main board wants to come out. Actually, we've got another cable here. Let's see if we can get that one out of the way. Try a bit of IPA on that one. I don't know if the IPA is helping or not. Not really designed to be repaired, this, I don't think. Not with all the glue and that. Right, let's That's that one out. Right, what else is holding this? So that cable's onto there. I can't see any more screws. Is this a big connector here? Yes, I think that one goes to the camera. And I'm not sure how that one comes off. Let's just zoom down a little bit. Because I'm not sure whether that's the same connector as the other ones. It looks slightly different. So I don't know whether this one plugs in from the front. I can't quite see for this tape. I think we've just got to pull this up. There we go. Right, let's see if this board wants to come out now then. I think it still feels attached with some tape. There's some tape down here. Hopefully it's tape and not ribbon cable or something, because I've just put a hole in it. Yeah, it just looks like tape. I wonder if some IP will help. Let's try that. I had a feeling this was going to be a nightmare. Right, I've got the motherboard out. So we've got some more screws down there. See if we can work out which wire this is. Looks like that one there. It's glued here. Glued all over the place, this. At least I want you to push that pin through now to get that bit of that bit of metal out, to get that leg off. This looks a bit of a nightmare to get to this board down here. Because that looks like it's possibly plugged into another board down here as well, with the cameras and the sensors on. It looks like this bottom part might come off because I can see the clips there now. So that might give her a bit more access. I'll see if I can get this bottom part off. Well, I managed to get the bottom off, but then we've got these connectors here to take off, and then it looks like there's another connector here that goes to the front bit. And then what I've noticed is all these cables, they're all glued in. I've just actually tried to get this one out, and what a job. This is like super glue. It's like they've super glued the cables in place here. And it's taken us about half an hour to actually try and free these cables off. So I'm thinking if I'm going to do that with the other cables as well, this is actually going to be an absolute nightmare. So what I'm thinking about doing, instead of trying to take all this board out and then desolder the wires, and then solder the wires back to the board. I'm thinking what I might do is just cut the wires here and just make a small join with a bit of solder, with a bit of heat shrink over them, just to try and save having to do all of this, because like I say, this looks a total nightmare. I might add an extra gram onto it, so it might be 250 grams, I don't know. But this glue here, like I said, it's literally, it's like super glue. I mean, I can't even get off the cables. And the job, I had to actually get it from the actual chassis here. Like I say, it was a nightmare, so I want to see if I can poke this pin through while I'm here. And that seemed to work. There we go, we've got that bit out. And that's the other bit of the broken leg removed. I'm just double checking this is the actual right leg for this. Because that doesn't look the right. Let's just see how this fits on. Is that going there like that? Yes. That's okay then. Right, so I think I'm going to cut those wires and then we'll rejoin them. I think that's probably the easiest way to do this. Otherwise I think it's just going to be far too involved. It's been involved enough as it is. I'll just cut these slightly different lengths. I need to crack this open as well to try and get where the wire is. So I think all this is glued together or something as well. I wonder if I can sort of crunch this with some pliers to try and... Right, I think that's enough. No, it doesn't seem like that wants to go through there though. Unless you've got to slide this off, put the cables through and then put it back on. But even that seems a nightmare. That's it, I think I've got it through. Right, so should we just screw that motor back onto there now? Let's go and find the screws. So I don't know whether that bit's supposed to be glued together or something, because otherwise that's just going to come off. So I might have to put a little bit of glue on that, I think. I might do that now before I forget. Right, I've glued that part together. So hopefully that should just go in here now. Like that. Let's see if we can get this bit back in. I've got the shakes at the minute. Right, so that bit done. Now there's also a broken piece from here. Now, I don't know whether to just leave that bit off. I think it's just a little bit protective covering for that cable there. Might offset the weight of the heat shrink I've got to put on. I might just leave that bit off. It doesn't look like it's structural or anything, because the actual support's further back in there. Right, I'm going to try and get these wires to marry back up now then. Right, I'm going to tin those wires, I think. Right, just going to get some heat shrink. Back with some heat shrink. Some 1mm stuff here, which I think should be the right size. It's the smallest I've got anyway, so hopefully it fits. If I cut that just slightly shorter. Right, that's one done. So you need 3 hands. Right, one more to go. Maybe a bit too fat to get the shrink over that joint. Right, I think that'll do for that. So one of the things I was worried about was if these cables want to be too short when you put the leg away, but it actually goes the other way. So I think that's going to be fine. Right, now we need to try and put these cables down here somewhere. Luckily it seemed there was a fair bit of space. I'll try and get the main board back in next, I think. Try and get that camera cable out of the way. I think it'd be better if you slide the back in first. And there's a little peg, a little plastic peg just locates here. That's supposed to go into the circuit board. Like so. Right, I just had to look through the spyglass to put the two little antenna cables on here. One thing that I noticed, so I thought these were ultrasonic sensors or something. But they're just airflow ducts. That must be for the passive coolant. It looks like the airflow just goes over the heatsink here and just out the back. I thought they were sensors. So I don't know whether to put some hot glue or something just on these connectors. Or I don't know whether just heating them up would soften the glue that's already on there. Just this case is that thin. I think the heat off the Rework station probably just melt the plastic. So I'm not sure what to do about that. You put that bit of metal back on there. It'll stick on, I don't know if it will or not. Maybe not. I think it's just like a ground plane just to stop interference on this connector. I've just been waiting for the glue gun to heat up, and I've found some spray adhesive, so I sprayed a little bit on this, wait for it to go tacky, and that seems to have stuck that back on. So I've just got some hot glue here, so I'm just going to try and put a little bit either side. Might have to actually use the glue gun direct on it. So I think that should have those secure. I'll just do a little bit on those antennas as well. Right, so there's a screw that goes back in here. Oh, screw shot off. There we go. Right. And that bit gets held on with the top piece when that goes back on. So let's just double check we've got everything connected. We need to do that little top GPS board. I've just remembered that. Right, that's that back in place. We need to try and get these little rubber mounts back through. Right, so after a bit teasing with tweezers and things, I managed to get those 4 shock mounts back through. I think the next thing I'm going to do is put this bottom part back on. And hopefully it goes on easier than it came off. And hopefully being the word. Yeah, definitely not designed to come apart and go back together, I don't think. Hopefully you can get those clips to clip back in, but that's just been a bit of a pain. I don't know if it's easier trying to put the front in first. Just those these big bits sticking out at the back, so that's what I thought would be easier to put the back in first. Right, well that seems to be it. So I'm going to pop those 2 screws in at the top here. The Torx T4. Right, now just to put the top on, I think. Well, the top went on easier than it come off. I think it must be magnetic where the camera is or something, because these keep popping off when I go near the camera. So that's a pain. So I can use these tweezers to get them back in place. Right, I think that's it all back together now. Now one thing I'm going to change as well, let's see if I can, yeah, these blades are all broken, or some of them are, and I think these ones had chunks out of them. So I've got a new set of blades to go on as well. So I think I'll swap those over, and I think then we'll give it a test and see if it all works. Right, so that's it all back together. I'll charge it up and then we'll switch it on and see if it works.
The next day.
Right, I've come out into one of the fields just to give it a go. I've just got it on a bit of wood here. So I'll switch the transmitter on first. Let's see, I've got a little bit of a mark on the side there where I bent the plastic slightly, but I'll switch this on. There we go. Right, I'll just put this camera on the tripod.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
Right. Let's see what happens if we take off then.
Take on.
Hey!
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
Well, it's hovering there, so that's a good start. Now, it's been a while since I've flown a drone. Let's see how you rotate it now. It's been a while. Let's try the other way. Right, let's see if we can return to home then.
Go home. Landing.
Well, let's see it's landing. Let's hope it doesn't just land on my head, because it's getting fairly close. I think I'm going to move a bit with the camera and that. Excellent. Well, I think we'll call this one a fix then. Right then, if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, please subscribe. Any comments or questions, please leave it in the comment section below. And as always, have a great day. Thanks for watching.